What is up, guys? Delboy here. So the upcoming fight between Artur Beterbiev and Enrico Koelling has been elevated to a full world title fight. This fight is going to be for the vacant IBF light heavyweight title, which was vacated by the retiring Andre Ward. And I have to say, I'm pleased with this news. Firstly, I will say, it's not a great world title fight. To me, Enrico Koelling is a good European level guy, but he's not world level, doesn't carry power, and he is food for Artur Beterbiev, in my humble opinion. I feel this is a lamb to the slaughter, to be quite honest. But credit to Koelling for taking it. Credit for him sort of showing the courage to take it, because a lot of other guys don't want this fight right now. That's the reality of the matter. I mean, look how far Beterbiev has had to go down in the rankings to get an opponent, for Christ's sake. Originally this was an eliminator for the IBF title, but now Ward's retired, it's a full title fight. Look at how far he's had to go down in the rankings. He's had to go down to number 11 in the rankings to get a world title fight. Or an eliminator at the time anyway. But Koelling's taken it, so credit to him. I mean, we saw guys like Barrera duck Beterbiev. Originally, Beterbiev was supposed to fight Barrera in an eliminator for the IBF, but that never happened because Barrera pulled out. And let's be honest, I mean, people are not exactly queuing up to fight Beterbiev right now. So I'm actually glad this fight is being made for a world title, because when Beterbiev wins the world title, at least then he has a fighting chance to fight the best in the division. He has something going for him at that point. At least he'll have a world title. He'd become a more attractive opponent to fight, you know, for other guys. Because right now, there's no reason for these guys to fight Beterbiev in their minds. Doesn't bring much money to the table, hasn't got a world title, doesn't have a big fan base, so why fight him? He is the quintessential high risk, low reward type fighter. So why fight Beterbiev? But when he gets a world title, these guys have no excuses for ducking him. He's a world champion at that point. These guys will have to fight him or they get called out on it, you know. And the reality is, I don't hear Stevenson calling his name. I never heard Ward calling his name. Barrera ducked him. I've not heard Gavotsk call his name. And I've not heard these guys call his name. Kovalev technically offered Beterbiev a fight, but there's more to that story than meets the eye, because ultimately Beterbiev was always going to go down the IBF route, and he said he wanted to be mandatory to fight Kovalev and not a voluntary, essentially meaning he wanted a fairer shake than just being a voluntary defense. And you know, he wanted to go down a mandatory route. If you want to play semantics, I suppose you can call it a duck, but at the same time, can you really call it a duck? Because ultimately that was still the fight Beterbiev was looking for. You know, he wanted to go a different route to get it. You could call it a duck, you can excuse it. To me, I'm not really interested. To me, Beterbiev has always shown that he wants to fight the best in the division. But the reality is, these other guys have pretty much avoided him, to be quite honest. So credit to the IBF for tying up the vacant belt straight away. And when Beterbiev becomes a world champion, hopefully we see him in there with the other top light heavyweights. I want to see him in there with Adonis Stevenson, Dmitry Bivol, Alexander Gavotzik, Sullivan Barrera, Sergei Kovalev. I want to see him in there with those type of guys. And listen, post Andre Ward, one of these guys at light heavyweight really needs to do something, because ultimately, post Andre Ward, a lot of these guys look a little bit lackluster. You know, they need to do something. And Beterbiev, to me, is the only guy I see really wanting to do it. And he's been held back by promotional issues, by other fighters not fighting him or been not willing to get in the ring with him. So I exclude Beterbiev from that list. But the rest of them, I mean, I've heard Barrera do some fuckery, you know, avoiding Kovalev apparently, avoiding Beterbiev. Stevenson hasn't been fighting great competition. Kovalev and his team are saying that they don't want Stevenson still. I've been hearing a lot of nonsense. And I hope Beterbiev can continue his his mindset and his sort of career goals of going out there and fighting the best. Because a lot of these guys that like heavyweight post Andre Ward are not doing it for me. I'm sorry, they're not. Dimitri Bivol's another guy I've got high hopes for. He seems to be stepping up quite quickly, you know. He's had like 11 fights and he's already beaten guys like Cedric Agnew, Robert Berridge, and Samuel Clarkson, guys like that. And they're not great names, but the reality is before 11 fights, they are good fights to take. So they're the two guys who I'm sort of expecting a lot from. But the rest of these guys, they're not doing it for me. What do you guys think? Tell me what you guys think. Peace.